The night my husband locked me outside our house at midnight, I was 6 months pregnant.
Please, let me in.
I begged him to open the door and reminded him that I was his wife, but pride and anger had already built a wall between us. Standing outside that door, I could hardly believe that the man who once promised to love me forever was now shutting me out of my own home. For the first time in my marriage, I felt the frightening realization that the person I trusted most could also make me feel completely alone. So I sat on those cold steps wondering how the home I helped build had suddenly become a place where I was no longer welcome. Inside the house, the anger that locked the door was slowly turning into something far heavier. When morning finally came and the door opened, I knew something inside our marriage had quietly changed forever. I walked past him quietly because sometimes silence speaks louder than every argument. For the first time, I saw something in his eyes that looked like regret. But regret cannot erase a night that changes the way your heart feels. That was the moment I realized that love can survive many things, but disrespect leaves a scar. But what he didn't know was that the woman who entered that room was not the same woman he locked outside. What I did next was something my husband never expected. Stay tuned for what happens next. I opened the suitcase that morning, my hands trembling, and knew that the choice I made next would change our marriage forever. I held that envelope tightly, thinking about the pain from last night and the love I still carried in my heart. I walked into the living room slowly, knowing this moment would either break us completely or begin to heal us. I handed him the envelope without saying a word, because sometimes silence speaks louder than pain. As he opened it, I watched his face change, and for the first time, I saw the weight of his actions hit him deeply. We stood there in silence, but everything that needed to be said was already written in our eyes. Later that morning, I watched him follow me into the kitchen, trying in his own way to make things right. For the first time in a long while, I felt seen, not just as his wife, but as the woman carrying his child. That day taught me that love is not just in the good moments, but in how we choose each other after the pain. But just when I thought we were finding our way again, something happened that shook everything. My heart dropped as I picked up the call because something in me already knew my peace was about to be tested again. The voice on the other end was calm, but every word she said felt like a knife cutting through everything I was trying to rebuild. In that moment, I realized that the pain from last night was nothing compared to the truth I was hearing. I locked myself in the bathroom, staring at my reflection, wondering how I became a stranger in my own marriage. All I could think about was my child and the kind of home I was bringing this innocent life into. When I stepped out, I saw him sitting there looking at me like he wanted to fix everything, but I knew some things cannot be undone. He tried to speak, but I raised my hand gently because I wasn't ready to hear words that could not heal me. I walked back into the bedroom, knowing that whatever decision I made next would shape the rest of my life. I placed my hand on my belly and made a silent promise to myself and my child that I would choose peace, no matter how hard it felt. So when I turned to face the door, I knew exactly what I was about to do. I took a deep breath and made the hardest decision of my life, not just for me, but for the child growing inside me. I picked up my bag and walked out of the room, knowing that staying the same person would only break me again. The moment he saw the bag in my hand, I saw fear in his eyes like never before. He called my name in a way he never had. I took a deep breath and made the hardest decision of my life, not just for me, but for the child growing inside me. I picked up my bag and walked out of the room, knowing that staying the same person would only break me again. The moment he saw the bag in my hand, I saw fear in his eyes like never before. He called my name in a way he never had before, but this time I listened with my heart, not just my emotions. I told him with my silence that love without respect is pain, and I refused to keep living in that pain. For the first time, I chose myself, and in that moment, I became stronger than the fear of losing him. I walked past him slowly, not because I didn't love him, but because I finally loved myself enough to walk away. That same door he once used to shut me out became the door I used to set myself free. I stepped outside with tears in my eyes, but peace in my heart, knowing I had finally chosen the life I deserved. And in that moment, I realized sometimes walking away is the only way to protect what truly matters.